here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. I am here with my sisters, Becky and Lily. Lily, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm all right.
Living on the lam in the Canary Islands?
Living on the lam. We avoided going anywhere like very public today because it's like a Saturday, so there's just more people everywhere, and decided to take a little trip into the mountains. What I did not expect it was going to be 107 degrees when we got there.
Lily,
Like
I
there's
don't
like a heat.
understand the
I
climate of
don't.
where you live, but it
Me
sounds like there's a
neither.
lot of temperature.
Mom's like, I thought it was going to be cold. I was like, look, I didn't think it was going to be cold, but I didn't expect this. She's like, this is a god awful mess. Which is classic mom.
Was she desperate for water by the time you got there?
Desperate for
She's
water.
so desperate for
I'm
water.
desperate for
We
water.
saw these beautiful views, and then on the way back, I was sitting in Ari's car seat. I'm in the middle seat. Dad's on the end.
I'm
next
already
to me, and
nauseous
Mom's in the
listening
front
to
seat.
this.
No, Dad's like
It's just an unnatural
Dad,
amount of people
like,
in a car.
right.
I'm
Dad
so
like
nauseous.
full on like passes out from being like way too hot. He just like is like bobbling from side to side.
I would absolutely go into a protective sleep if I was in this car.
Yes,
I would just
like,
pass out.
That's what it looked like. Like it was a very beautiful place when we got there, and the views were nice, and everybody had something to drink, and it was lovely. Mom like had a gigantic beer. Jose orders like an ungodly amount of beer for 107 degrees. Mom's like, I'll have whatever he's having. This is the classic mom. Dad has a gazpacho, and then I have the coldest water you can imagine, obviously, because it's me. And then, like, we're driving our way back. Dad 100% goes into like cocoon mode. He's like, I'm done with this day. But because of the curvy roads, the poor man just like bobbling back and forth between the door. And that's like really good that I'm squishy because he just like kept leaning. It was very squished in the backseat, but it was a lovely.
Becky,
But
day.
part of the story that Lily's leaving out is that the drive to this town, you'd go into a
Becky's
protective state,
there.
not from the heat, because of how truly
It's terrifying.
It's like death. It's a death-defying drive. It is
because it's
the scariest drive I've ever
mountainous.
been on.
It's
like
mountainous.
it's a steep cliffside with like a one-lane, two-way highway.
100%
Spaniards. It's horrifying.
Again, the Shai motto is: if you paid for the house or the hotel, why would you go do something else?
I'm leaning
Not
more and more
paying
into
for that
that in
view.
my older years.
Now, Becky, before I tell my exciting podcast news, just a quick, how are you doing? And then we'll come back.
I'm great. I'm fine. All's well. I don't really know what to tell you about. I'm fine.
Okay. So we have an exciting special event episode of this podcast
I'm really excited
that is going to drop. And I'm actually going to tell you guys right now that I officially got permission from Steve Greenberg of S-Curve Records to release the conversation that I had with him.
Oh, amazing.
As well as Eurovision 2018 winner and cameo appearance star of Eurovision, Netta. So
wow.
Netta won Eurovision with the song
Yes.
Toy, which is amazing. And as part of a partnership with Camp Tel Yehuda, where our parents went and where we went as campers, I was moderating a weekly discussion with them. And Steve Greenberg, who is a legend in the music business, was going to be the guest that week. And he is such a gracious and wonderful guy. And I'll talk a little bit about what he and I talked about in a moment. But he invited Netta to drop in, and sure enough, she dropped in and chatted with us. And then
it's amazing.
Steve very graciously, and David Weinstein from TY graciously agreed to let us release the whole conversation on the Friday Night Movie Podcast feed. So if you haven't already seen it in the feed, go check it out. It's pretty amazing, and it's a lot of fun, and we cover some really awesome topics. We talk a lot with them about their careers, about navigating the world as Jewish artists and how that informs their experience as artists. We talked about a film and album that Steve produced with David Broza, the famous Israeli musician, called East Jerusalem, West Jerusalem. It's an amazing album and a really beautiful film about David Broza going into the Palestinian side of Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and working with Palestinian musicians to create this album that promotes peace and understanding. We also talked about an album and a song released by the OJs called "Above the Law," which is a biting critique of systemic racism in the United States. And then we talked a lot with Netta about what it's like, it being in her shoes and how she has developed into this incredibly true and authentic person as an artist. And I couldn't be more proud and excited to have been able to have that opportunity. So that is going to be released, or has
So
been
I just
released
need a
by the time
spoiler.
someone's listening to
Exciting.
this. Yeah.
I need a spoiler. Did you bring up Eurovision?
I brought up Eurovision with Steve, but I did not talk as much with Netta. I didn't talk with Netta really as much about Eurovision.
Do you mean
in
the
general.
contest or the movie?
Both.
The movie? I mentioned the movie to Steve, but I didn't want to use my time with Netta to ask her about this.
That's such
cameo.
good self-discipline.
No,
I'm very proud of you.
I asked her about what it's like, being an authentic artist, and also, by the way, having to represent your country and all the Jewish people around the world.
Right, it's like the Olympics.
We talked a lot
It's
about
not
the
just
pressures.
Singing.
Music.
We talked a lot about the
Yeah.
pressures of social media. It was really, really special conversation, and she's absolutely wonderful. And wow, isn't that exciting? That's like
It is.
that's a big Friday night movie score. So it was
Very
really
good.
awesome. And Lily, you are thinking of getting in touch with Kulat Bilasek, the woman who created Bajillion Dollar Properties, the subject of our conversation today, and pitching her your own show, correct?
Mom already named the show.
What's
Oh.
It's a Spanish version of the show, and it's called like Property Hunters or like House Hunters kind of thing. But in Spanish, it's a play on words because the word for hunt it sounds the same as the word for house. So Mom wants to call it like Casa de Casas or something like that, because cazar is to hunt. Mom like already has like the logo and like the theme, like it's a little bit of like a salsa.
But is this going to be
thing.
like a actual unscripted reality show, if you will, or
Yes.
will it be?
No.
Oh, so
Mom
it
can
won't
only.
So it's really going to be
Mom
more
can only
like
be unscripted. Like,
okay.
Mom is unscripted.
But is Mom
in
playing
way.
herself or a pretend version of herself in this?
Oh, definitely, guys. Definitely
think
pretend
herself.
version. No, or
I think
pretend
herself.
version.
I think herself.
I think
is
the
already
pretend
a lot
version
to
is
handle.
the same as the self.
So is she
There's
the
no-
owner of the real
Life
estate
is
company
art.
in this? Who are the
Like,
characters?
well,
Give us
Becky's definitely like a guest star that everybody wants to be like a fixed. Like they're like, oh, why is
You're
going to
write me
every
into the
episode?
show eventually,
Right? Like they're like, wow, like she has to just be in the show at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's like the person that's like in the pilot. The way Rob Lowe was not meant to like forever be on Parks and Recs, but he was just so good. So that's going to be like the Becky character. But it's really like the Jose and Fanny show at this point.
So it's a son-in-law, a Spanish son-in-law who converted to Judaism, and his Juban mother-in-law taking the Canary Islands real estate market.
Getting drunk and buying real
getting
estate.
drunk because she orders whatever he's ordering, no matter what he orders. She's like, I'm just having that. And I'm like, Mom, he's having like 7 liters of beer. And she's like, yeah, I just want one of those.
I would like the boot of beer, please.
Yes.
Like...
and then she's always like, oh, why am I so dizzy? Or like, why am I nauseous? Oh, I need to eat something. I'm like,
let's go for a burger.
So let's get into the show.
Anyway, okay. Wait, hold on. Wait, I just have to tell you. So this is my pitch, because the two of them, like, this started out, we're here, we're renting a house, we're like isolated. We've isolated ourselves because we've been like locked in my apartments with our parents for 3.5 months, and it's like really hot in summer here, and it's Jose's dream to have a beach house or a vacation house. This is his dream, and so he's always constantly looking at property listings online. And Mom gets on any bandwagon humanly possible, and so
one of her greatest qualities.
Right. And there's like a lot of like dynamics down here, on the island, and like with the different people. And we have
different temperatures
that we have. Exactly. And we have met some like hilarious like real estate agents. Like they all have like a type. And like I feel like there's Gina, which there is a Gina. There's a Guillermo. There's a Jose Maria, which I thought was hilarious. But that a lot of times people here are named for both of Jesus' parents. His parents. I mean, so.
But give me an example of the type of one of them.
Okay, so like Gina is super well dressed, a little bit older, very classy. She only shows houses like, you know, that are very like high standing or condos or stuff like that. She drives a white Porsche Cayenne. She takes like the COVID really seriously, like with the mask and everything, you know, like when she's going to show you a property or doing an open house or whatever. Then there's her counterpart, who I think is kind of like her nemesis, Guillermo. He dresses just as well, but a man. I think he also has a Porsche. I've never seen so many Porsches in my life. And mom's like not into him at all. Mom was just like, no, he's definitely scamming us or whatever. I don't know. And then
now Jose breaking into this market, like what kind of things is he doing to ingratiate himself or play the system?
He first he just loves to call all these agents on the listings, because he just looks at all these listings and he's like, I want to see this house. Can you show this out? He just like is like making all these phone calls with he has a much smaller budget than these houses are worth. And mom eggs him on. Mom's like, well, if we can see something that's 2 million or 3 million, let's just do it. I just want to see the house. And he's like, well, I mean, and so so she's egging him on. He shows up everywhere in flip-flops and like a surf t-shirt. And mom like dresses as fancy as humanly possible as the clothes that she has out here. So it's a very odd dynamic. And then they're like, so that's your mother-in-law? Okay, trying to understand the situation. And we went, mom just really wanted to see what this house would look like. So we went to kind of like an open house with, I want to say it was Guillermo, Gina's nemesis. He showed it to us. He took us to this open house, and it's this like almost €2 million beach house with a private pool, and it's like so gorgeous. And we go in, and I have to bring, if I wanted to go see it too, so I have to bring my 4-year-old. Not 2 seconds into this house did my 4-year-old in front of all the other people that are there just go, mommy caca. And I was like, oh, sorry, can we use your bathroom? Because the owner had sent like a representative to the house to manage the open house. And she was like, yeah, I guess. I then proceed to spend 45 minutes in the bathroom as my son destroys the toilet of this very fancy bathroom that has not just a toilet, but a bidet and a urinal, like a very fancy urinal.
That is fancy.
It is very fancy. I've never seen like a very fancy urinal. It looked like an egg with a hole in it. Like very fancy. And it was very high up. I think the owner must be tall. And Ari's just like destroying that bathroom. Like I had to use the scrub brush. And we finally like, mom is like knocking on the door. She's like, we gotta go. Like we can't just keep staying here. We're the last ones at this open house. And I like casually open the door. I'm like leaving the windows open in the bathroom. I'm like, anyways, thank you so much. Bye.
So you're definitely the type of people that go to an open house
it's like,
just
I love
to test out pooping. Just to test out pooping in the bathroom.
Like
for free snacks and to take a poop.
When Jason Segel goes for the snacks. Exactly.
I just want to do a quick callback to that time Shai was shopping for a toilet in like a home.
Oh, one of our most downloaded episodes to this day.
And
on Mother's Day.
Actually, and like shopping. This actually plays into something I think that often happens in Bajillion Dollar Properties, which is a good role play. And Shai needed to role play pooping and sitting on the toilet.
I did
and made the salesperson watch him sit on various toilets.
Oh yeah, no, and I did. I wanted to know
and tush comfort
and cheek distance.
I think it's very important.
The required cheek spread for a particular bowl.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
100%
narrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, narrow bowls are good.
We discovered a show on. It was so. Here's the logic as to how we found it, or the thread. Watching Space Force, we were introduced to Tawny Newsome, who plays the pilot who works with Steve Carell, and she was amazing in it. And so I wanted to find out more things about her that she worked in. And so I tweeted about it, and somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head, but somebody tweeted back, said, oh, you got to check out Bajillion Dollar Properties. It's on Pluto TV. And Pluto TV is a free service with lots of ads. It was anyways, I watched a few episodes of the show, and I knew my sisters needed to see this show more than I did. Like, my enjoyment of the show was pretty high.
I didn't know how much I needed to see the show.
It was only going to higher. So I just went, and I was on the phone with Becky, I think, when it happened, and I just went and I just said, I'm just buying the whole show. I bought the whole series.
I thought you had already seen it.
No, I'd only seen like 4 episodes, but I just went like, this was, I don't know what this is called.
When
This
you
is
know,
a
you know.
buy,
It's like when
but-
you meet the one.
But this is
you
like
just
you go,
know.
But this is like you go
all in.
It's like
yeah.
you roll those dice, you roll the dice,
you went big, man.
I went big, and I just said, I am buying. This is a buy. And not only that, it's a buy for me, but it's really a buy for you guys, because I knew you would love this show. Bajillion Dollar Properties.
Also, I'm living it. Like, literally. I'm living the show right now. So it's like
Anyways,
the
I
show in
do have to
Dippity
say,
could not be more accurate.
While I thought Tawny Newsome was great on Space Force and really funny, now that I've seen her in Bajillion Dollar, I appreciate her that much more. I realize she is so funny. She's so great. And I feel like I can't wait to see more of what she does because just of how amazing she is in Bajillion.
She is so funny. So Bajillion Dollar Properties is a fake property show. I would never watch a real property show. Like, it's the worst thing in the world. But the fake property show is very funny.
Or would you?
Like I said, created
by... Because I've come full circle here with this.
Created by Kulap Villasak. And it stars Tawny Newsome. And it stars, I don't remember all the other actors' names, except, of course, Paul F. Tompkins, who plays... what's his name? Rose Dragon?
Dean Rose Dragon.
Dean Rose Dragon. I remember all the names of the characters.
Yeah,
Dean
well,
Rose
and they're
Dragon.
and all of the actors are like, I know that guy from a thing. He's so funny. Wait, what thing is he in? It's like all those, but they're so good.
And
really, really great improv actors, comedians, all of them.
And they're so funny and so
the cameos are also amazing.
Anyway, so we need to explain really what the show is. So the show is
Becky, you explain it, because I don't understand a real estate show anyway.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's real estate. It's a fake show, but it's basically like a mockumentary style, or not a mockumentary. It's like a reality show. It's a fake reality show. Of like your classic reality show where you see the observational scenes of, people trying to either buy or sell houses because it's about real estate. And then with the interviews, like the confessional interviews where each of the characters are commenting on what's happening in the story. So like your classic reality TV show about buying and selling homes. And this property group, Platinum Properties, is, supposedly one of the best, most high-end real estate groups in all of LA, selling homes, like starting at $10 million. So, all really expensive, fancy schmancy. And each of the agents have their own shtick and their own unique personalities.
Like on a reality show, there's like
on a reality show. And all the inter-office fighting and backstabbing. And I think also giving us regular people a window inside the high-end world of LA property buying and the demands of clients that these agents need to meet. In particular, one of my favorite things that many clients seem to demand, and I am dying to know if this is real, is role-playing as they look at a home. So you have these amazing cameos by like
Shai,
so many hilarious actors. Adam Scott, Zach Galifianakis, Patton Oswalt. You have like
Dave Foley's in it too.
Dave Foley has such great. And every episode has at least one or two amazing cameos of these people coming in.
Of course, but he was a photographer.
But the creator of the show is Cassandra in that episode. His assistant is the creator of the show.
Oh,
Cassette. That's who she is. She did a great job. And when she's done, she's like, it's so good. I had so much fun doing it.
So it has great cameos.
She just walks away.
Great cameos, really funny comedians. Seems like there's quite a bit of improv in the show.
I think they all come from improv backgrounds.
Yeah,
Tawny Newsome for sure.
Anyway, so every episode, it's like a bit formulaic, but every episode is really funny and unique in the bits that they're doing.
But here's a key thing. Now, I have recently had some real life experience with real estate, which has been eye-opening and made the show really funny. But what really solidified it is that I happened upon a real reality show about LA property sale, like real estate people on
it's
Netflix.
the real version of this show.
And it's literally the real version of this show, Shai. You really need to watch like 5 minutes of it.
Amazing.
And it blew me away. Like it makes Bajillion Dollar Properties even funnier.
Well, it's just, or it makes it seem like, guys, your show isn't absurd enough. Can you like up the ante? Because a lot of these things are actually happening. Wait, can we dive into the show a little bit and actually, like, I want you guys to answer some of my questions that I
would love to hear Becky's questions.
So I want to know, okay, let's start with
and again, if you don't know how to find this show, get the Pluto TV app and watch it for free with commercials, or just buy the whole series.
It's just worth it. It's for like a few bucks. It's really
to make yourself laugh even more, watch 5 minutes of what was that? Was the show I sent you? Sunset. Shit.
Something. I don't know. Whatever.
Selling
Sunset. Which is like too much. Like, oh my God. It looks like it's fake, but it's real.
So far we've each seen about, the first 1 or 2 seasons or so. Who's been your favorite cameo so far?
Well,
I haven't seen as much as you guys.
But still, even from what you've seen.
I would say my favorite, so I would say the funniest cameo or one that was a big deal for me from the beginning was the Adam Scott one in the first episode where he plays the artist, because
the
rock star who is like a total maniac. And the reason why I liked it is that I feel like it set the tone where we're going to get great guest stars. I mean, these are all well-connected comedians who are really, really funny. We're going to get great guest stars, and we're going to get them to come in and just play crazy people. But the one that makes me the most happy, of course, and because I knew it made Becky so happy, is when Weird Al appeared in a brief vignette. Crazy guy talking to his stuffed dog.
I mean, he plays a really crazy person.
Yeah, that was very, very funny. And I love seeing Weird Al with this particular group of comedians. He's done a lot of funny stuff with them, and so I enjoyed seeing him in the group. What about you, Lil?
Obviously Adam Scott Mantzoukas, and I'm looking forward that Galifianakis has a bit in it.
Oh, he's so funny. Okay. He's so funny. He's on a different level when he does his shtick.
The cameo, I enjoyed Adam Scott, but the funniest of the guest characters to me is Galifianakis. Because he talks about a guy.
He's obviously making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously improvising, but the way his brain works and the way that he delivers his improvised lines it's just very unique. It's very special.
So that's the one I'm most looking forward to. But I think up until what I have seen so far is Brian Husky, who plays that butler who's just messing with Baxter and Andrew.
Yeah.
That plays that.
Oh, yeah. Have you been to that episode?
Yeah.
Where they're doing a role play within a role play?
As if I've been to the house. Have you seen that episode, you mean? Have you been? There's a role play within the role play. Exactly.
Yeah, that episode. There's a bunch of scenes like that where during the scenes I don't like them, but when I think about them, I'm like, oh, that's really
I didn't like it while I was watching it.
It's so uncomfortable.
One scene, I was like, this is so weird and uncomfortable. What's going on? But when I realized that they're just messing with them for their kicks, I was like, hilarious. Yeah. And I just thought that guy was really funny as that butler. And it's very obvious that they're improvising. Mm-hmm. Nick Kroll is also in it.
He's great. His is great.
Is in it. Like there's Jack McBrayer's in it. There's a ton of cameos.
Yes, but we're just asking you which one's your favorite. We're not asking you to name them. We're not asking you to IMDb it.
Lily's welcome to our new podcast where Lily reads you IMDb.
I'm just saying there's so many great cameos.
My favorite cameo.
What's yours?
My favorite cameo is, although all of the ones you name are awesome, my favorite is always going to be Jason Mantzoukas, because where I think Mantzoukas brings it when he does a cameo is that, yes, he's really funny himself and doing his Mantzoukas thing, but I find he really brings out great moments with the other characters, him in particular, right? Because yes, when people have to react to him because he's so bananas, and in particular the role that they put him in as this like celebrity photographer trying to get you know,
he
a
was
special
born to play
photograph,
that
right?
role.
And so I feel like when you put him in a scenario, it's not like a Galifianakis who's doing something like really weird and unique and hilarious. The other people have to react to him, so it's just making it even funnier. So
And he got to work with basically everyone in the cast.
And he did, and that was also very special. So
all right, keep coming with the questions,
cameo.
Beck.
Okay, so my next question is, which was your favorite role play that you've seen? I've
only seen the one that's not even a real one. It's they're trying to just like fuck with the real estate agents. And the only other one I saw was the actor who wants to be in character while he sees the property.
That's weird.
And that's
that
played by Scott.
That's
played by Scott Ackerman, who's married to Kulap Villasek. He's married to the creator.
There's a really funny one with
Glenn. He's hilarious.
There's a really funny one with Glenn who's selling a house to a woman whose husband isn't there, and she makes him role play as her husband, but then he also still has to be himself in the scene, and so he's going back and forth.
So that was going to be my favorite. That's with Casey Wilson, who is also a genius, brilliant, hilarious person. That is my favorite one because Glenn in season 1 is kind of annoying. In season 2, I like the way they upgrade his character, and that scene where he has to play himself,
he like levels up,
and with her,
you see how good he really is, like how great of an actor, how funny he really is in that scene.
That to me was a graduation of Glenn's character. So for me, that's definitely the best role play.
But now on to business.
Okay.
If you had to sell your home, which of these agents would you hire?
Victoria.
Victoria, probably.
Because she's gonna get it done. To sell my house. I'm not saying to buy. To sell. She's getting her done.
Okay.
She's getting it done. She's the worst. Like she's the villain.
Like the most competent.
She's also like a bit like, she's a bit of a bee. Like she's pretty terrible to everybody. Like I love Chelsea. I want to like go for drinks with Chelsea, but I know Victoria's getting me the best deal. That's not who I would buy a house from. That's what I would sell with.
I would have Amir sell my house because I feel like he consistently gets like the most.
Well,
he'll go the furthest.
He achieves into the highest selling price.
He's willing to go he has no dignity.
He has no dignity.
He's willing to go the furthest. That is true.
And then
I would probably have Victoria sell.
And who would you hire if you were buying one of these homes?
If I was buying one, I would say, like, the one I want to hang out with most is Tawny Newsom's character, Chelsea.
Yeah, she's the only one I could tolerate.
Leight, because she is the one that's like cool enough that you want her to think you're cool. But I feel like that would cause me to spend more money because I would like want her to think I'm cool, so I'll just like buy the house that she tells me to buy. But I
feel like go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but knowing my wife, and you've never bought a house with my wife, but I have, you really need someone who can care for the psychology of the situation.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And for me, that's Baxter and Andrew.
Andrew.
I was gonna say,
they really, they want to get their client what the client wants.
Yeah, and
they're really
different personalities, so they can adjust a little bit more.
They're more sensitive.
And they also never seem to be making fun of the client behind their back or being mean to the client, whereas it seems everybody else hates the clients. Baxter and Andrew seem a little bit more as like the client's people, even though I'm confident they would make a mess out of the situation. But I would say they're the nicest guys.
All right, that wraps up my question. My question period for.
Another show that I finally got to finish watching that we all got a chance to talk to. So spoiler alert here is I finally finished The Good Place, and I got to the ending of The Good Place, and I just want to say I was emotional about it, but I was ready to go. And I think that's sort of what the theme of the end of the show was, which is nothing lasts forever, and that's okay. That's a good thing, and you've got to be okay with sort of moving on. And I thought
they were smart. They ended it when they should have.
Yeah, I don't think we needed more of that show.
Right.
Yeah, so that was good. That was a good ending. And then there's a new show that I'm only halfway through. Becky's halfway through. Lily watched all of in like one sitting. Called Love Life, starring Anna Kendrick, which is on HBO Max.
I'm like back on. By the way, like I told you, I got off the Anna Kendrick train for a little while.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Pitch
Too many Pitch
Perfect 3?
Perfects. I wasn't into her Instagram was like annoying me. I don't know what it was. I was just like, okay, we get it. You're small and cute and talented. I don't know what it was. It's like everything I love about Christian Bell. I, for some reason, having like a weird, like contrary reaction to Anna Kendrick.
No, I mean, you are,
You know what I mean?
a little emotional these days, so.
Well,
I guess. I'm just saying. But she has redeemed herself in my eyes. And it's not her fault. It's me, it's not her. But I thought that she did great in this series.
I think it's
this
very cute rom-commy type of
it's
show.
It's more rom than com.
It's more like
dramatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know
it's
if
sort of like an American watered down Fleabag is how I experienced it.
Oh,
it's not
really watered down.
No, then like, yeah, like
it's more of just like a really long movie. I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is like a really long movie. I'm only halfway through it, but I will say
stylistically, I like how each episode opens. I like the way that each episode is bookended, the way that it opens with like Becky, a specific intro, and I like that.
You are not a huge fan of narration, but I like the narration.
I like it, but it's well done. That's what I'm saying. I like the way that it's just bookended. Like the episode begins and ends like a very specific way. They kind of
like on Outlander, they're like, and then Claire picked 10 flowers.
Yes. No, here it's a nice like setup and a nice closing to each episode. I also like stylistically the way that each episode, although we're clearly building towards something bigger, they're actually almost like capsule episodes, each one. We're just being dropped into this moment in her life, and at least in the first 4, well, it's changed a little bit in episode 5, but I like that.
So we're on episode 6. So we're on episode 6. We haven't gotten to the end. There's 10 episodes. And there's definitely 3 boyfriends that have so each episode focuses on a different romantic relationship of hers in a different way over different years in her life, progressing towards something we don't really know for sure. I wanted to play a little buy rent meh with the 3 boyfriends that I thought were a-holes, and that is Magnus, Bradley Field, who is the second boyfriend, the divorced guy, and then young Luc Ducharme, because old Luc Ducharme actually seemed pretty cool, and he's
I'm not there yet. I know we're gonna see an old Luc Ducharme.
Yeah, he's played by Gallagher, not Peter Gallagher. The Gallagher Jr.
Really
who was in American Idiot. Who not Gallagher or Peter Gallagher, but I think it's John Gallagher Jr., the one who was in Newsroom. The one who was in the Newsroom, and
Becky's not understanding anything you're saying.
He was also
I saw Newsroom. Who was he in Newsroom?
He's the guy.
The guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Seems a bit old for Anna Kendrick.
Well, I don't know. He was also in American Idiot on Broadway, so that's where I saw him. He was awesome. So
like on the Broadway show?
I like him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, John Gallagher Jr.
So
he does seem would be older than her, but I guess the Luke character could have been older than her in high school. So
either
could
way,
be a few years older than
talking about the high school one. So this is just episodes that all 3 of us have seen. Okay, Bai is the one.
Oh, he's also in Modern Love. Did you see the? Wait, sorry.
No.
In Modern Love, the episode.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
He's great in Modern Love.
Moving on.
Magnus,
kind of like
Bradley Field, and Luc Ducharme young, not old.
Okay, so of those 3,
so let's be clear. Bai is the one that is the least despicable. Rent and Meh.
No, I always like doing Bai being the most. Bai is the worst.
No, Bai is the one that you can tolerate the most. It's like the best of them, and Meh is the one you want to get rid of.
Yeah, that's true. But they're all
playing the same.
They're all bad.
Okay, so you have. Meh Magnus. There's just
that guy
everything.
From the moment. You want to hear something really funny about me and Allie? Like the moment he comes on, I'm like, I hate this guy. Like the moment he walked on the screen, I'm like, I hate this.
No, I'm dumb. It took me half an episode at least to be like, oh, this guy seems nice.
I think it's because I lived in Brooklyn. I think it's because I lived in Brooklyn. Exactly like Shai. I took one look at him and I'm like, I know everything about you. You are so toxic.
Well,
you are like the epitome of like narcissism and toxicity.
And
you are horrible.
And can't be happy for her. And
can't be happy for anybody else. It's always about, they're just a total narcissist.
He's a garbage person. But the moment he walked in, I hated his guts.
And just the fact that he's a chef in Brooklyn covered in tattoos, I'm like, oh my God, it's like, He's
he does
perfect. You didn't even hire an actor. You just went into any of those hip restaurants in Brooklyn and said, "Hey, you're going to be in this show now."
The actor Nick Thune does a nice job.
He does a great job.
No, it's I'm saying. It's like so perfect.
I thought it was done really well.
I'm saying he's so perfectly cast, everything from his build to his style to what he's wearing to his tattoos to the caricature of being the chef, like everything about it feels like it's so perfect. They didn't even write a character, they just like found a real human, because this is so real.
And I'll say I don't relate to the show, meaning I like it a lot, but I don't see we finished last night, Allie and I, episode 6, and I was like, yeah, wow, I don't think any of my relationships are anything like this.
No, I don't.
At all.
I couldn't relate.
And whereas Allie was like kind of quiet, and then she was like, I've dated a Magnus.
Yeah, I don't not relate to these things.
I feel like this is actually a story about Becky's boyfriends. Like I feel like each one of these has a quality of one of Becky's boyfriends until she met her husband.
I mean,
but
a show like this makes me just feel so good about my choice of who I married. And I'm like, you can come out the other end of this and make good choices. So Magnus, and if it's really truly between the other two, I think I would probably buy the young Luke, because you're a teenager. So even if you do like kind of hurtful or not the best things, there's more forgiveness in it because you're like 15 or 16 and you're still like learning how to be a good person. And I rent the divorced guy because like I don't think there's anything wrong with him in particular. I just think the dynamic of her being at a certain place of her life and his being at a certain place in his is just too uneven in the relationship. And I think that for me is like the bigger problem with it. Not that he himself is such a terrible person. And so I meh that because
I meh Magnus. I agree.
I mean, I rent that guy.
I meh Magnus, but I'm gonna buy Bradley Field, the divorced guy.
Me too.
And the reason why is not because I think he's good, because he's another one that I was like, ugh, garbage person. But because
I like him.
But because the teenager situation, I feel like Luke was mean to her. He hurt her. Maybe that's the way teenagers are, but he hurt her in a way. Bradley Field, she gets drunk at Bradley Field's mother's funeral, and
that's one of my favorite scenes in the show.
That's relentlessly until they break up, and
she's as much of a shit as he is in that relationship.
Yeah, in that relationship,
the way she behaves.
Exactly. The Luke one, I have more empathy for her in sympathy for her, but in the Bradley Field relationship, I feel like she just I'm like, what are you doing, lady? Why do you think this is going to work out? And now you're making everything worse. But I thought that was also really well done. I also there's a couple other elements. So I don't know how it ends, but I know from the beginning I was rooting for Augie. Is
Augie, right? I'm totally rooting for Augie.
Augie's very
no, Lily's like the worst liar and does terrible.
I'm not
spoilers,
even looking.
So she just turn your video off. I'm not
saying they're going to end up together, but that's like before they started hinting that it was unfinished, I was like, well, that guy seems fine. I bet she's going to end up back with that guy.
Or you're like, gosh, I hope she ends up with someone like nice like him.
Yeah. And
is this just like a one seasoner, or am I going to have to like?
Well, it says there's a second season, but I don't know.
I can't imagine there's a second season.
I don't know if it's with her in it or if it's with another person.
The way it ends, I don't see why you'd need a second season.
And
maybe.
So there's one
weird detail. It ends pretty well.
Episode 4. Episode 4, Anna Kendrick had like a sore throat throughout that whole episode. And
she was sick.
I know.
And it takes place over like a period of time. Yeah. And you're just like, have you been sick? Do you have a cold for 7 months, Anna Kendrick?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so obvious.
I mean, it just like, I didn't think it was bad, but I just like it. I really heard it. I'm like, well, I guess it was a tight.
And it was actually a little bit in episode 3. She starts having it in episode 3, and then it's all of episode 4. And so what's funny is that knowing how production works, these are 30-minute episodes. They likely actually shoot 2 episodes at a time, because it's typically how it's done. So you'll shoot over a 2-week period, and maybe a bit longer, but I imagine for something like this, over 2 weeks, you'll shoot 2 episodes. So you'll kind of be like bouncing back and forth between scenes. So it's That's why she might have a sore throat in one episode, in episode 3 a little bit, but then mostly in 4 because they might have just been like finishing some stuff up.
That's
like one random scene in episode 3. It's only like one scene the whole episode she has a sore throat.
Hilarious. And then the other thing that I really liked is the appearance by Siobhan Fallon, who was an old SNL
Edgar
actor
Suit.
from the 90s. Yeah, or the lady who said Edgar Suit.
You can't see her and not go Edgar Suit.
I know,
Edgar
you have to go
Suit,
Edgar Suit.
You can't. It's just like her tone.
Edgar Suit.
But she's been in a lot of things. I thought I remembered her from SNL, and it was really nice to see her in this.
Shai, you've seen a lot of the show because she's already in therapy.
Yeah, I'm in.
That was episode 6.
That was episode 5 or 6. Either way.
Yeah.
And so I would say this show is like a buy
5.
or at least do your
5.
free trial of HBO Max and watch this during your free trial. Because I'm enjoying.
You can knock this out in real quick too.
Look, you know how I fall asleep during shows? Allie and I watched I think 3 or 4 episodes last night in a row, and I was like, we could have kept going. But
it's like watching
so
a movie
good to
in
hear
parts.
because I tried watching it with Vlad the first episode, and he does this thing where like every 6 minutes or so he just looks at me and goes, "But just tell me, is this supposed to be a comedy, but it's not funny? Or is this a drama and I just don't understand what's dramatic about?" Like he does that thing where he acts like he doesn't know what's going on. And I'm like, you know what? You're cut off. We're not doing this anymore.
And you make stories for a living.
Right.
Figure it out.
Stop. Just say you don't want to watch it and we'll put on some old episodes of Seinfeld.
I wouldn't even bother. I watch this by myself. Are you kidding me? I think it's adorable that Shai's watching it. It also tries to do a little bit of gossip. He wants to know what's going to happen. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gossip. Who's she gonna end up with? But also, you know what? I really love watching TV with my wife, and I really enjoy something that we both can get into together. And one of the things that's happened during quarantine is like we've really made an effort to watch, like pick a show and watch it together. We watched The Sinner. We watched Little Fires Everywhere. We watched like they're obviously, we can't have a global zeitgeist anymore of watching shows, but sometimes when things are crazy and schedules are crazy, you even miss watching a show with your partner. And with Allie, I love watching Billions, which like stopped in the middle of the season, so I'm not kind of stuck with this Showtime membership until I find out when the Billions episodes. But I love having a show to watch with Allie. And it's been fun, to watch it. So this was a nice one to try together.
All right, so
yeah, now Becky, why don't we talk about what we've been watching and kick off with your review? I don't really know. You've been promising us something about old.
Okay.
Shai has to watch it though. I think for you to. Okay,
I don't have a lot of time left. I don't have a lot of time, but no, he doesn't need to watch it to understand. Okay, so when we used to go to the movies every Friday night and watch a big action movie, right? We'd sit in the car on the way home and we'd always rate them. Oh, it's a 3-star, it's a 2-star, 4-star, 5. We'd have our discussions. And there was this standard rating system of 1 to 5 stars of what a movie was. Okay. And you can still, you look at Avengers or whatever it is, and that still fits into these, theatrical release blockbusters. Now, Netflix has done this thing where over time, they have chipped away at what it qualifies as a decent movie. So within the Netflix system, there's a different rating parameters than if you took one of these and tried to put it in a movie theater. So a movie like Old Guard, if you tried to rate it against like actual blockbuster action movies, would be at the bottom of the barrel, like a how did this get made sort of worthy movie. But within the Netflix body of work, let's say compared to Triple Frontier.
But I think we're doing a disservice to films if we give them their own rating system.
No, I'm saying within that world, it's, I think, actually like pretty good compared to it, which then leads me to believe
it's definitely better than all the other
that the people who make movies at Netflix have never seen movies. Because I don't know how you watch movies, know how story, like just like basic storytelling happens in a movie, which is like through images and things that you see. And then you go and you make a movie like Old Guard that's an action movie, but it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes of talking about
I was like,
feelings.
oh my God, when they handed Charlize Theron the script, did she say, I have to know all these words. I'm gonna have to remember all this dialogue. Like, what the fuck kind of action movie is this? And I feel like there's something weird with these
You
Netflix
don't have to
action
worry about me
movies.
watching it because I don't like the Netflix action movies. I'm not
Because
gonna.
They
what
have
I'm saying is that
actors.
what I'm saying
a great
is that
story. Olgar is from a graphic novel, and it is a fantastic story. This is no triple
such
frontier shit.
an incredible alternate pitch for this movie of how the story could be done.
You
but
do.
that
But
aside,
wait, you're interrupting me. What I was saying was, yeah, you were. I was talking, and so started talking for me. What I was trying to say, if I didn't forget already, is that there's something about, like, this was a slam dunk. You have amazing actors. The story's great. It's from a graphic novel.
Whole cast is brilliant.
The whole cast is fantastic. And then, Becky, do you think, and Shai, give me your opinion as well, are they saying we can make this longer because people are watching it at home and they're going to pause and get up and go to the bathroom and maybe get it like
no, it's not about longer. It's that the
oh my god, this is
the
you've
script.
I mean, an action movie.
The script
boring.
feels like it was actually written by a film student who doesn't have any, or a film student would probably even do a better job. There's nothing creative in the storytelling, and I think for me that's what crushed a movie like Old Guard, because the story is actually pretty cool. It's like a Sense8 kind of vibe, there's some really cool, like some super cool supernatural elements, but the actual storytelling is so linear and so boring that even though you have this really cool characters and elements and history and things going on, the straightforwardness, it's like step 1, step 2, step 3. There's nothing inventive about how they're presenting this story to you, which is what I think is so bad about the movie. And that's what I say. It's like, because there's nothing inventive about the way in which the story is told, it wouldn't hold up against, actual blockbuster movies. But within the Netflix catalog, where no one knows how to tell a good story, and by comparison, it's actually pretty good.
Well, I'll just say, speaking of Charlize, I was listening to the Take Two podcast, Tony and Brian. I'm a Patreon subscriber, so I get their exclusively released episodes. And they did an episode on best part 4s in a series of movies.
That's awesome.
And they wisely both put Mad Max Fury Road, which I don't think about as a 4th part, but as the 4th entry in the Mad Max series. And Charlize is amazing in that movie as an action star. And there were
this is not on her.
But this was all this discussion back then about potentially turning Furiosa into the sequel and having a sequel about her.
They recast her.
Why isn't she doing that?
They are. They recast her because it's a young story. So it's going to be the story of a young Furiosa.
They didn't pick her as the actress, Shai.
And
she's
Vlad, I want to credit Vlad with a good point, which is that.
Sorry, disappointing.
That works to do a young Furiosa and recast if you do it, if she's like 13. So if it's the story of Furiosa at like 13 years old, where there's no physically human possible way it could ever be Charlize Theron, then you do it that way. But from that opening shot, like the opening shot of Old Guard is actually like Charlize walking down an alleyway just looking like beyond perfect and stunning. We're both like, she could play a 20-year-old.
She said herself.
She goes mad.
She goes, I'm really sorry. She's like, I'm sorry. She basically was like, I'm so fucking good that I think audiences would have suspended belief and allowed me to play the younger Furiosa. So give me a fucking break.
So that's basically maybe it'll be like a Hannah situation, and it'll be like a young teenage girl.
I don't think she's that young.
I'm less interested in the young Furiosa story. I would have liked to see.
It's like a prequel, and they just didn't cast her.
But also, that movie notoriously was one of the most brutal films to shoot. It was like 9 months in the Sahara, and they were miserable.
Well, and her and Tom Brady, Tom Brady was his name?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
So
I also could see why she might be saying that, but secretly be like, "Ooh, dodged that bullet."
That movie is pretty awesome. All right, Lily, what have you been watching?
Pretty much what I just told you. The Love Life I just finished. Bajillion Dollar Properties, and today I miraculously found Selling Sunset, which is
what I'm doing.
I don't watch reality. I don't watch reality TV, but Becky, I am fascinated.
Can't wait.
And I have to tell you, they sell more homes and show you more homes on Bajillion Dollar Properties, which is fake, than the actual show about properties. So far, I've seen just a lot of girls like arguing and one very expensive, gorgeous house. So
this
I don't
sounds
know. But
unbelievably
it's
like the worst thing.
hilarious, Shai. The clothes, like just the outfits alone. You need to. I'm asking you for 5 minutes. You just got to give me 5 minutes.
Maybe. I saw, as I mentioned before, East Jerusalem, West Jerusalem. It's available on iTunes. It's about David Broza making an album with Palestinian musicians. It's really beautiful. The soundtrack is awesome. Like the actual album just sounds great. Steve Earle, the famous American musician, actually produced the album and is in the show, as is Steve Greenberg, the gentleman I had the chance to interview. So I recommend that film and the album that goes with it. Allie and I last week, did I ever mention to you guys the movie VFW yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Did I mention it on the podcast?
I don't know.
Anyways, it's not a movie I can recommend, but it was an hour and a half and I enjoyed watching it. And the reason, and it's produced by Fangoria magazine. So when a movie is produced by Fangoria magazine, like that tells you something. There's going to be lots of splattering heads and axes and bodies and crazy things like that. And it totally delivers on that. So it's a movie that delivers on its promise. It stars Stephen Lang, William Sadler, and Martin Kove, who a year ago told me about the movie when I had a chance to meet him. He, of course, plays the evil sensei, but he couldn't be a nicer person in real life. He's just like a nice Jewish grandpa. And they play a bunch
from Karate Kid.
And them, along with Fred Williamson and George Wendt and a few other young actors, play these people in a post-apocalyptic future where everyone's addicted to a crazy version of Oxy that turns them into like crazed zombies, are hanging out in an old VFW bar, and they have to fight their way out in the middle of the night. And the most heads exploding and axing of people I've seen in a long time. Lily, I think Jose would. It is kind of a comedy. It's a real grindhouse movie, and it has a real sense of humor about it. But it's all like, if you try to think of it as serious movie, you're going to be freaked out. But if not, then it's obviously like a chop 'em up, Evil Dead kind of style movie. And so I can't really recommend it to anyone unless they really like that genre of movie. But Allie looked at me and she goes, I don't think it was good, but I really, I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And then I'm finally getting to start watching the second season of Patriot, which is a masterpiece that's on Amazon. But that is a really dense show, amazing soundtrack. But it's not a show where you can like even look away from the screen for a minute, because if you do, it's half in French and Dutch and Persian. And anyways, it's there's a lot of stuff in it, and I find myself always rewinding parts, but I am enjoying it. And it's a recommendation from our dear friend Mark Toner, who we have to have back to talk about Russell Crowe sometime. With that, I think we're wrapped up. Lily, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd. I'm sorry, my dog is sitting next to me just crying. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And like fussing. Such a baby. Wants me to open the door, but I won't. Just sit down for
Give us your handle.
Chichi K Gomez. I was gonna be like at gmail.com, but that's not true. Chichi K Gomez.
Well, you should
Whoever
try
that
emailing
is just got an email. See what happens. I mean, I have that mixed up version of your email, Lily, and that lady who I was sending Friday Night Movie. I was sending her Friday Night Movie show outlines for like 2 years. She finally wrote back and said, "I don't think this is the right person."
And I have one from yours, but that guy never wrote me back. For a while, you're like, I'm not getting your emails.
Becky, where can we
at Paper BK Princess on Twitter, social medias. That's it.
And you can follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table, Pancake 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow all of the Friday Night Movie shenanigans at Friday Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram, or FridayNightMoviePod.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat, the band that I am in with the great Howie, and we have a new record out on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere else called Sidecar, about 1980s and 90s TV characters. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. And very important, our family supports the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and the Equal Justice Initiative in our solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Please go and check those organizations out and learn from what they have to offer, but also support them if you'd like to support them. We support them. And I think with that, the show is wrapped up, and I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Oh, fun. Wait, listen. Every time I shower, I think of Gretch because I'm just like, I'm not washing my legs.
I don't wash my legs or my
When they
feet.
put that in the show, I was like, who washes their legs?
It's
but
really
I often would wash my. I think I would wash my legs.
Did I tell you
can't
guys
reach my legs.
Did I tell you
at
guys
this point.
that she did a birthday charity thing for
Gretch?
Yeah, Aya
Aya
Cash did a
Cash?
birthday charity thing to raise something for the children of promise, and it's about helping children who are children of incarcerated parents, at least one incarcerated parents, in New York. And so I donated like a chunk of money, and she wrote me a really like nice, quick thank you back.
Oh, that's sweet of her.
She was matching people, so if you gave, she gave.
Oh, right, for her birthday.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's really
neat.
nice of you.